Hey, Ron.
Hi, Tracy. Do you need to show the antitrust notice and the code of conduct, or can we just get started?
No, I think we're okay.
All right.
I think you and I both know that.
Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen. Just opening one of the scorecards. Right. So yeah, so this is the cacti scorecard. So we are working on trying to get these numbers out. So I just thought I would have it here because we looked at some of these numbers and I mean, we were discussing whether or not the fact that we got a 0 here matters. So maybe we can discuss that. So maybe, yeah, let's just go one by one. Sorry, this menu bar at the top prevents me from seeing what's in the tabs. We'll go to the, yeah. So this is what we were editing the other day. And this was Dave's presentation. Uh, I can't read the font very well, but I think he had, yeah. Anyway, we can probably just go over the list that we already have. So these were the badges that we had called out as being potentially awardable to the projects, and we started writing, making notes against each of these. So I think we covered. Let me just see here. Legal, decentralized, release, testing, documentation, legal, diversity, release, testing. Yeah, I think maybe we skip documentation, openness, best practices, because I mean, openness is kind of already covered by the scorecard. The fact that we have that, I think that's anyway, just having the OpenSSF best practices badge and the scorecard is sort of mandatory for everybody, right? So I
Yep.
think we can kind of ignore that. Yeah, the other ones we had, just to go over what we did the other day. Legal, we mapped it to this badge called license. Yeah, it's like this one, and I think we thought, yeah, any graduate project ought to have a 10. Let me just blow this up again just to see what an idea. Yeah, so I think this was the based on the new life cycle diagram, and yeah, right. So this was the context. Several of the several of the items we had in these lists, I think, are we are trying to get mapped to OpenSSF scores. And right, I think left out the documentation in top level because that's not explicitly covered by any of the OpenSSF metrics. I think that's the main reason why we did that. So yeah, here's the entire list. Okay, so documentation top level, production. Okay, we can kind of ignore that. Okay, maybe we'll go back to what we had here. Okay, so legal, we have diversity, we have release, testing, security, which is a dangerous workflow. And I think we were still discussing security the last time. Maybe we can just go over this again. Yeah, we'll just click on the edit so I can take notes. So yeah, I think what are the things as I'm just trying to see. So security is mapped to security policy as dependency update to token permissions, vulnerabilities, SAST. I'm not sure what those are. Maybe go and take a look. So maybe let's just go over this list and see if any of these have an impact on security. I think that
Okay.
branch protection, I'm not sure it's really a security thing, right? I mean, it's more of a just a repository maintenance discipline, or it's not relevant to code security as such, right?
Well, I mean, based on the risk, it kind of seems like it could be, right?
Mhm.
If you don't have branch protection, then it could be vulnerable to intentional malicious code injection.
Yeah. So, okay. Let's say we do use that as another security criteria, then says here is 3 points, 6 points, 8, 9, and 10. I think we already mandated this anyway, right? Require at least 2 reviews for approval before merging. In fact, in Cacti, we have a 2 org policy. I think, isn't that the
Yeah,
policy
I
everywhere?
guess
Yeah.
I don't know that it is a policy everywhere. I know a lot of our projects do meet that, but I like what about like the brand new projects? Do we automatically enable that? I don't know. Maybe we could ask Rye if he automatically enables that when he um, sets up a new repo.
Right. Uh, uh, Other than that, should we mandate a particular tier for graduation? Seems to me this may be a useful thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Tier 4.
So at least 9 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's something else here that's kind of optional. Uh, Prevent force push, prevent deletion. No, this seems like fairly basic things, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe I'll say. Okay, so that's that. CI tests, CI practices. Code review, is that a security thing? Dave didn't seem to think so. Good and interesting.
I wonder how this code review is different than the like branch protections.
Yeah, seems to be some overlap at least.
Yeah, it does.
Mm,
Yeah, I feel like that's duplicative, actually.
yeah, there's something about scores here. Mm, yeah, maybe we just ignore that for now.
Yeah,
Let's see what else we had here. Let me see what we got. Code review. Okay, we got a 10. I guess this just gives a 10 if you merge a PR uh, with an affirmative review. That might just be it.
yeah, it seems like if you don't do a review, you know, then it basically deducts some points. So, I
Right.
mean, if we want to include that, we could just say need to get a 10 out of 10.
Right. Should we put in security or should be in maybe testing and CI/CD? I think maybe that's more appropriate place for that. Because yeah, I think yeah, we had
But
something called CI/CD best. Sorry, no?
I was gonna say, where did Dave put the code review?
Code review infrastructure. Um, we in this list we don't have an infrastructure, but we kind of broke it up. I think we had a something called structure, and then we have CI/CD best practices, and maybe conformity, I suppose. So, yeah, it says here GitHub repo has been created, mailing lists have been created and are archived. Other communication means used such as chat channels are set up, project is set up with CI, all project repos have implemented the common repository structure. Yeah, I think it mostly corresponds to this the structure, what you call structure here. It's a process that is in place, and all of the forums and artifacts that a project needs to have exist. And if any of those don't exist, then it's not ready for graduation, but it's kind of a basic requirement, I guess.
Yeah,
So we'll park this for now. Structure. Should I put a code review here?
sure. And I guess it's the 10, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering what. Yeah, I think maybe I'm biased, but I'm guessing that if Cacti got a 10, other projects should do, given how we do code reviews.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I guess the question is though, do they look at like the last set of like the last 3 months or something? Like I'm wondering if you ever got, okay, so the last 30 commits.
30
So
commits,
yeah, I think that's okay. I think a 10 should be fun.
Yeah. Okay, so there it deducts scores if there are automatic merges from bot initiated PRs, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. Uh, security. I think this. Yeah, maybe let's just cover security first, I guess. Then, so
Yep.
dangerous workflow. What is?
Did we have dangerous workflow somewhere else already?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. You're right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Good. We already put it there.
Because yeah,
Great.
you already put it there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
We
felt like
finished.
we talked about that one before, so.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, we covered dangerous workflow, token permissions, branch protection. Okay, let's skip those. Dependency date. Let's go back to this. Security. Yeah, Dave thinks dependency update is relevant, so maybe we can take a look at that.
I mean, this should be fairly simple for people to get. All they need to do is make sure that they're running at least one of these tools.
Yeah, and they don't have to do anything themselves, right? I think Rye enables dependabot. Right? I mean, we get dependabot errors all the time. Yeah, we got a 10 here. So this dependabot is used. I guess that's what
Yeah.
is the requirement. Pausing. This is
Definitely seems
definitely,
relevant.
yeah. I know, I think we got a 0 on this. Yeah.
Yep. So basically, you're not using any tool to do fuzzing.
Yeah. Let me see if Fabric has this. Yeah, they do. Okay. I don't know. I haven't used this tool, so do you know how
No,
easy it is?
I do not know.
Okay. Should I mark this as investigate how easy it is to use to deploy OSS files? If it's easy,
Yeah,
then probably just say mandate.
yep.
Uh,
I think that sounds good. Yeah, I'm curious if Dave set it up when he was going through the scorecard or if they had already had it set up.
yeah. I think maybe the farmer, but you can ask him. Housing license is covered. Maintained. It's maintained. Maintain community support. That's what Dave thinks it is. Yeah, I don't think this is, I mean, security is a part of maintenance, but I think this is things just something more basic, right?
Yeah, this seems like is even active more so
Yeah,
than anything.
yeah. Check on only succeed if we get a project. Okay. Activity. Let's see what we got. We got a 10. 30 commits out of 30 in the last 90 days. I'm just wondering if there's a project which is kind of mature and it's not. I mean, we had those discussions in the TOC, right? Like, what counts
Yeah.
as minimal activity, right? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, right? I mean, somebody should be able to be around to answer questions and things like that, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one for sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure where to put that. I think it's in. We have something for that.
Not really.
Um,
I guess it's the responsiveness and engagement.
yeah, I think that's what it was. We'd already marked it as optional then, I guess. Though it's yeah. Mm. It seems very subjective. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of thing which mm, could be under. Could you package it with release?
I mean, you could have it maintained without having to do any releases though, right?
Yeah.
Since that's not really a requirement
Okay.
of that badge. So yeah, it feels more like that engagement responsiveness.
Okay.
But I guess you know, it's probably something we should look at, right? We shouldn't allow a graduated project, something to graduate if they're not maintaining it.
Yeah.
But yet at the same point, it doesn't require you to stay there once you've graduated, if you would, right? Like if it dropped to a whatever the other scores are, say a 5 or something, like that wouldn't all of a sudden say, oh, we need to take this out of graduated state. I don't think.
Yeah. I think we mentioned a few things here as soft criteria. Let's see.
Maybe it's
Uh,
something that we check and see, is this project something that we should be archiving? But it doesn't necessarily take us back to an incubation state, if you will.
Right. Okay, I'll just put them there in the notes. I think it's going to be a bit subjective. It's probably something we can say. I mean, if the question comes up about whether the project should continue to remain in the graduate state, the maintainers can make the case that it's despite there not being a very high volume of activity, the project is still mature and being used, and therefore it doesn't deserve to be called as dormant.
Yeah. Yep.
So should I say no particular treat this as soft criteria and no hard threshold?
I think that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Following like license maintained. Next one is packaging. I think we already covered packaging. Release. Pin dependencies. Did we cover that? No.
It seems like a security thing.
Pin dependency, right? Yeah. Let's see what we have. We got a 0. I'm not sure why it says medium. Oh, the medium is the risk.
Yeah. I think what this is in your GitHub Actions, instead of saying, you know, whatever package at v3, you say at a particular hash number to make sure that you're pulling the right thing, if I remember this one correctly.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I think Dave, I looked at the slide and he hasn't mapped pin dependencies to anything. So I think so. They say it has some security risks, but is it primarily a security issue, or should we treat it as a
I feel like it
main?
is a security issue.
Okay. And the software updates. Yeah, and this is the thing I'm concerned about. If you have a pin dependency, then it's kind of hard. I mean, and if you discover a vulnerability in that particular version of the dependency, then what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if your dependency is pinned on some software that's not been maintained now. I have faced that situation in the past. So that's by that is it's not being maintained by third party. Quickly updating application. This is actually non-trivial task, really. I mean, if there is third-party software, then it may not be easy to upgrade it. You may have to look for an alternative then, unless
Right.
you want to build it
Right.
yourselves.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this one. Do we just leave it out? It doesn't fall into anything.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's one of the things where we'll just have to maybe we just say we trust that the maintainers know what they're doing, and I think if there are the vulnerabilities, then that's going to be detected by
Dependent bot.
Dependabot, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Um, can I just say here? mm, Uh, does it sound good?
Yep. I think that's fine.
Fast. Medical license. Did we discuss code QL in one of the TOC meetings?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Okay, I think yeah, Peter probably integrated this code QL a while ago, so we got a 10 here.
And is this under our, do we look at this under CI/CD then?
I think that Dave marked it as a security issue. SAS, yeah. No, I don't think we looked at this earlier. No, testing
Okay.
CI/CD, there's just one thing, one criteria where you get CI tests. Yeah, I mean, SAST, this definitely is a security issue, I think.
So basically this is another one of those, you get a 0 or you get a 10, right? It's either implemented or not, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. It's similar to the one that we were looking at earlier, right? The fuzzing, where you can just, if you just integrate a tool, you get a 10.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe code QL is also something you can easily integrate. So, but I don't know how much trouble Peter or whoever
Okay.
did it had when we were integrating it.
Maybe put the same comment as we did for the fuzzing.
Fuzzing, yeah.
And then just change the OSS fuzz in that statement to code QL.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Security policy is
Definitely
definitely
seems like a
relevant.
security thing.
Yeah. We already mandated this anyway. The fact that we need to have a securities
Yeah.
MD5, right? Typically, I wonder if it just gives you 10 based on that the existing profile. Security policy was detected, okay. Why did we get a 9 and not a 10? Warn. Let's look at the description. I don't remember what we had in the default security MD file. So do you remember which of these that covers all of these?
I mean, we definitely have the email.
Yeah,
We've got,
we do have context covering vulnerability disclosure practices, but I don't know
yep,
how the tool would detect that.
and timelines. I know we have timelines around it.
Yeah,
30 days or 90 days, right?
right. But unless it's
So
ChatGPT, probably can't detect it.
it's probably that they're looking for something very specific and doing a grep or something for,
Yeah,
because based on the way this is written, right? It's like, and we look for vulnerability or disclosure, disclose, right? So it's kind of like they're
right.
doing some greps.
And I'm guessing we did not pass the test because we got a 9, right? So that must be 6 plus
Yeah.
3. So that's what we're missing here. Yep. Yeah. One unknown descriptive hence. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the criteria.
I think we should, basically say it has to be 9 or greater.
9 or greater.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just emails and URLs. You need to have some text there. You don't care what text it is, but you need to have some text.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have a default template, right?
Right.
And that default template should give us at least a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll mention that as the security policy. find this. I think that should also be a security issue. Dave doesn't have any mapping for signed releases.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we're working on, right, with the security task force
Yeah.
currently, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, obviously it's not, we haven't required that yet, but my guess is that we're gonna get there.
Okay. Maybe I'll just say we'll park on this until the security artifacts task force comes to conclusion.
Yeah, I think that's good.
It's called security artifacts task force, right?
I think so, yeah.
Token permissions. I think this is relevant to security.
This should
Yeah,
be fairly easy to implement.
it is. The one thing is we actually had a somebody pointed out potential vulnerability and in the bug bounty program. So with that is they reported an issue through HackerOne in Cacti. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah, something it was in one of the actions we had whereby I'm forgetting the details, but there was one could the one's private GitHub credentials could have been revealed. I'll go back and check what exactly the issue was. Yeah, oh, right. I think it was a scripting issue. There was yeah, because of I think we were using we're echoing something which would have and if you pass a particular and an
Yeah,
echo had it takes a particular variable, right? So somebody can inject something into the variable and then it makes you output or log the secret. So there's something like that. I don't know. Is there an automated way to detect these things? I mean, that's the kind of bug that they found is I seem similar category of a SQL injection.
I don't know if there's an automated way to find these.
And I don't think this really covers that either. I think this
No,
is
no,
this is
this
just
is something
about
different.
Let me see what we got here. We got a 0.
I mean, I remember when I set up scorecard for something, it was fairly easy to fix this because it was just additional lines in your GitHub action.
Right. Okay, I think this is maybe something we should mandate. Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
think so.
should. Okay. Vulnerabilities. Oh, okay. This is
Yeah, this seems like we should mandate this one too.
yeah, we should. Only thing is, so like some of these are cryptographic vulnerabilities. I remember there was somebody flagged uh, a particular AES scheme that we were using inside uh, in our code, and that was we were using the AES 128-bit scheme, and they pointed to a vulnerability report saying that this was quantum unsafe. So uh, those are things which and it took some testing and experimentation to figure out how to fix that. And sometimes you may not have a ready upgrade for those schemes. Just wondering what. I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah, I
it
mean,
is.
so
Yeah,
some of these are for sure. I mean, I understand, right? They may take time to actually get the fix
yeah,
in place.
yeah.
Um,
The thing is, if we disable that piece of code, it might be an essential piece of code, and without it,
right.
some essential feature might not work.
Maybe this is
Mm,
similar to the thing that we had where we kind of take the benefit of the doubt. Was that which one was that? Pin dependencies? Like pin dependencies?
yeah, yeah. I would say investigate if this is less than 10, I guess. I think ideally should be a 10.
Yeah.
Webhooks. Hmm. Openness still thinks is critical. I see that. I don't see webhooks here.
I wonder if this is a new one. Is this a new thing that they've added? Does it exist in our scorecards?
Not here. Not here either.
Okay. Maybe this is a future version? I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that cover all of them then? That was the last one?
Yep, this is the last one.
Okay.
Mm, should be
I think
Do we
we'll
use
leave this
this
one
or
out for
leave
now.
this on? Okay.
Yeah, I think you would leave it out for now, because I don't think it is currently being used by any of our scorecards.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the list, I think we have covered. Which one did we not cover? I think I mean, some of these the level is kind of it's just a marker.
Right.
Production we haven't actually covered, and maybe it's I think maybe production we already have a lot of things here that any production system should be doing, right? Maybe we can just abandon that one.
Is this like, is it being used in production? Has somebody adopted it? That sort of thing? Is that what we had originally thought about with this
Right,
one?
yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I
I
think production
wonder,
is
I wonder if we can, maybe it's not a hard requirement, but see if the project has like an adopters.md file, um, that list, where it's being used or something like that.
yeah.
I don't know. It feels like it would be an interesting set of criteria to take a look at, right? Um, if nobody's picked it up yet, is it really ready to graduate? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if we should mandate it as a criteria for graduation, but
Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
that we should either. But it could be something interesting to look at anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that it's a mandate.
I think also this is like I mean, once a project is used in production, it's crossed the threshold, right? So it's not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
criteria we use for demotion. And I think we had the documentation as well. I don't know. I think this is just maybe you should just say presence and publication. I think that's probably sufficient, right? And yeah, we've also should we mandate that it be it follow the make docs template? So I think different projects are using different
Yeah, I mean, I don't
material
know that
items.
it has to use make docs, but I think the kind of ideas around what should exist in the documentation that comes
Mhm.
from there, things like the
Yeah,
tutorials, the installation, the
yeah,
basic sort of things that you would expect documentation to have. To me, that seems relevant.
right. That's kind of what we noted here was yeah, we didn't explicitly write it here, but we were going to wait for recommendations from the documentation task force. Should we think of a list where we say you should have these things like tutorials, of course, are one, but it's
Yeah. How about
yeah,
I go through the template and just pull out the things that I think are things that we should consider
okay, sure.
having. Like I think if you don't have something that's like a how do you install this thing or how do you use it, like that's probably a project that's not ready for graduation.
Yeah,
I know we all love documentation, but it is still something that we should look at.
Yeah, I know, and it's not just for others. Even like when we first wrote our when you were doing the Weaver lab, we wrote the tutorials, and it was something then we kept continuously using ourselves just to see whether the everything's working or not whenever we made any
Yeah,
changes. So
yeah.
it's super useful for the maintainers and contributors as well. Okay, let me.
Yeah, so I can take a look at that, and I'll just add to this document, if you will.
Okay. Did we cover? I think we basically covered all of this. Okay, I think now what remains is to kind of organize it in such a way where it sort of we create some kind of a tuple which says, okay, you get this, cross this tuple threshold, you move, you go below this tuple threshold, then you get demoted, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to prepare something like that. So yeah, maybe we can yeah, maybe we can have another one more meeting, and then we'll decide on that, and then we'll go to the TOC.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah. I think we
Yeah.
made some progress today.
Definitely.
Okay. See you next week at the TOC meeting.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.